On this very day, 40 years ago, the National Arts Centre Orchestra played their first ever notes in what was then a brand new venue in Ottawa. The musicians played to a full house, enjoyed a standing ovation, and embarked on an epic journey, taking their music to the far reaches of the country and the world. Here now, CTV's Jonathan Rotondo on the orchestra, its musicians, and the venue they call home.
October 7th, 1969, the first ever concert by the newly formed National Arts Centre Orchestra.
It was actually called the Haydn Drum Roll Symphony, and so nicknamed because it starts with a drum roll.
And as principal timpanist, that immense duty and honor fell to Ian Bernard.
Well, I guess I didn't think of it that way at the time. I was just playing the ink, as we say. But yeah, I guess I go down in history of having played the first notes that were ever heard by the NAC Orchestra in 1969.
Of the original members led by Maestro Mario Bernardi, only Ian Bernard and 3 others remain. Peter Smith on the clarinet, and violinist Karoli Zalati and Elaine Clamasco, who on opening night was just 19 years old and the orchestra's youngest member.
I was so young that it was all new and thrilling. It was a very big event. The opening concert was just, it was phenomenal to have that kind of support, and there were people here from all over the world to see how we did.
The audience's reply, a standing ovation, and Canada's orchestra was born. At 40 members, it was smaller than a symphony orchestra, more mobile, built to tour.
This is the orchestra that has toured the country more than any other Canadian orchestra. We've gone to communities large and small. We've gone to the West Coast and the East Coast. We've gone to the North. We've gone to rural Canada and urban Canada. So this orchestra has really been everywhere in this country.
In June, 5 months before the orchestra's first show, Canada's new National Arts Centre opened its doors. On stage that night, the National Ballet.
It was to be a people's palace of art, and I think this is what it's become.
Journalist Sarah Jennings has written a book chronicling the first 40 years of the National Arts Centre and its orchestra.
The idea at the time was everything would be first class, but it didn't mean strictly high class in an elitist sense. It was to be the best of everything, the best of music, the best of dance, opera, theater, but to appeal to everybody.
And almost instantly, it did.
What do you think of that building?
I think it's very attractive. I really like it.
Something that Canadians can be proud of.
In 4 decades, the National Arts Centre has showcased the very best in Canada's arts and culture, even welcomed the world to Ottawa. In all that time, the orchestra has taken its music across the country, even around the globe. That journey, that growth and evolution hasn't always been easy. No money for the arts, threats of privatization. Jennings calls the late 80s and early 90s a storm by fire, one that made both the centre and the orchestra stronger.
In the days when it looked as if the Arts Centre might go down or be privatized, it was the artists who rose to the barricades, because for them to appear here on the Arts Centre stages, it's a mark of excellence. It's as if you have arrived.
I've always had a sort of fierce sense of pride in the orchestra, and I think that all musicians do. It's what they do. And when you're on stage, you're bare to the world, you bare your soul, sort of thing.
It's a very important part of life, making music, sharing music.
And that's very much what the National Arts Centre is all about. It's about doing great work here, but it's also about touring. It's about showcasing the best artists from across the country here.
In 40 years, from the distant past and prestigious to the recent and whimsical, it's that love for all forms of art, that need to share it, that has kept these institutions young at heart.